Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another Black Desert Online video for console. In today's video, I want to be talking about a letter that was released to the community a couple of days ago. And I was meant to do this video a couple of days ago and it was released, but things just got in the way. But here we are. So guys, this letter is addressing an issue for Black Desert on console. And it is affecting old gen console users and new gen console users. And that is effectively the performance of the game at the moment and the extensive amount of crashes that are happening on the game. So if you guys haven't checked out this letter, I suggest watching this video because I'm curious to hear your input and your feedback at the end of the video. So make sure you guys stick around and watch the whole thing. But without further ado, guys, let's get into the video. Now, guys, when we talk about this, I want to be, what's the word? I want to be open and I want to be honest and I want to be truthful. And I'm not going to bash Pearl Abyss. I'm a Black Desert console partner content creator. So I do want to be respectful, but at the same time, I feel it's important that I'm honest about this. And I feel like if I wasn't being honest, then I wasn't kind of being honest to the viewers of this video as well. So I need to I definitely feel like it's within my right to voice an opinion. If you guys watch my streams, you guys know that I crash a lot and I get shitty, right? I get shitty and I get frustrated when I crash, and I feel like, you know, just because I'm a partner content creator doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to get shitty, right? But at the same time, I want to go through this and I want to be respectful and I want to give like an unbiased and like constructive input into what this letter says. So let's go ahead and let's read this letter, right? So it says, adventurers, we would like to make an announcement regarding the recent crash issues that have affected Black Desert Console. We apologize for the delay in this notice as we've been working extensively on trying to discover the causes of the crashes. These recent issues are unacceptable not only from a player point of view, but from our point of view as well. We sincerely apologize for the experiences been affecting Black Desert lately and would like to take a quick moment to thank you all for patiently waiting for an update on our part. Now, I just want to break this down a little bit really quickly. It says these recent issues are unacceptable. This is not a recent issue. Like when you say recent, to me, I would think, okay, like in the last kind of like 4, 5, 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, right? This is not recent. The game has been crashing ever since I started playing in April 2020. That's when I started playing the game. I think it was April or March, right? Around there. And I used to crash maybe once a week. Now it's gotten to the point where I'm crashing 6, 7 times a day. And so I feel like, yeah, okay, it's been progressively getting worse, but it's not a recent issue. This is an issue that's been affecting the game since I started playing, and if not, since the game was first released on console. Okay, let's move on. Recently, we've been consistently releasing various contents which piece by piece has been exhausting the game's usage of the Black Desert client memory. As a consequence, the game's memory usage has surged with the recent additions such as Khan, Medaya Conquest, and Node War changes, as well as other major content updates. We are also aware that this crash issue is amplified in the Red Battlefield Conquest and Node War content. Now, I've seen reports from other partnered content creators that are sending in feedback to the CMs talking about how people that are doing Node Wars, Conquest Wars have been crashing way more times. Like if I say I'm crashing 7 times a day, these guys are crashing way more. Like, you know, you've got a group of 20 plus people crashing 200 plus times collectively over a 2-hour Node War. And that's crazy. And what I've been experiencing myself is I definitely feel like this has been getting worse since Corsair was released. When Corsair was released, every time that you would switch servers, mostly switch servers, the game would crash every time. Now it's like at the point where every time I switch servers, my game crashes. Every time I change a character, my game crashes. Every time I die and need to respawn at a safe zone, my game crashes. So it's basically like any loading screen is causing the game to crash, because something's happening in that loading screen and it's causing the game to crash. Now on top of that, it's not just loading screens, it's just, you know, going into high dense areas, like for example Velia, where I'm at. You know, you've got all of these ships here in the background, and if I show you guys really quickly, so for example, this is Rulerpy server, and you guys can see all of these ships here in the background. Now every single time that you've got things like this going on and you've got all of these resources just sitting here idle and players not utilizing these resources, all of what this does is this increases the demand of the CPU that you're using. So when you're entering towns like Valia, especially, Calpheon is another high resource demanding area. Any basically town that you enter in, Valia and Calpheon are probably the two most notable ones. Heidel is as well, but Heidel's maybe not as bad. But you know, the game will crash, right? Anytime you want to go and talk to the storage manager, the game will crash. You can't AFK process in these towns because the game crashes. You can't like even just running through, passing by, like let's say you've got to pass from one end to the other because it's on your way to a different destination, the game will potentially crash because you need to render in all of these resources, and it's very, very demanding on the systems, right? All of this stuff needs to be dealt with in a way where, you know, if people are leaving their friggin' ships out because they're too lazy to put them away, right, they need to be automatically returned to the guild, the wharf manager after X period of time, right? I feel like just a small change like that will really help reduce the demand of resources that the game is putting out. Now, coming back to this as well, it says a game's memory usage has surged with recent additions, right? And that's fair, okay? You definitely notice that the more content that they've put out over time, the more demanding that the game is going to be. Remember, the guys, that this is an open world game, which means that there is no sections, right? If this was a game where everything was in sections, the game probably wouldn't be as bad as it is. You've got an entire Black Desert universe all linked together. It's not like see where this river is here and we come through here. This isn't one section, right? And like when you cross a certain path, it would like load in and render that section, and everything outside of that field of view would be, it wouldn't count for any resources. This is an open world, so everything that you see in the background, every kind of mountain and everything within a render view is using CPU resources to basically give you what you can see in the game, right? It's utilizing resources. And while I like this and I dislike it, I like it because it makes the game what it is. Black Desert, in my opinion, is known for having amazing like scenery and graphics, and the game looks really beautiful. But all of this extra shit that we're seeing at this really far distance is using more resources on the game, and the more content that they bring in is adding demand to our hardware and our consoles. We're currently preparing a patch that will be released next week to address this issue by attempting to optimize the memory usage of these contents as much as possible, which we expect will improve the stability of the game. Additional measures, such as an option that will allow adventurers to manually delete accumulated cache on your console, is being considered, along with follow-up optimization updates to help performance. We'll be closely monitoring the effects of this patch and its post-release to ensure that the patch achieves the desired effects. So coming back to what they said here, we're currently preparing a patch that will be released next week to address the issue by attempting to optimize the memory usage of contents as much as possible. If they can do this in a way where it reduces the demand of the systems, then that's really good. And if it's something as simple as they need to clear the cache from their coding, from their C coding on a more regular basis, then that's something that they should be doing anyways, regardless. I definitely feel like it has been brought up before. We've talked about it in the partner podcast, and has been suggested to Pelvis many times about bringing in potato mode. Potato mode basically is just the option to lower the graphical content of the game. They have this on PC. We don't have it in our game. We can't lower the graphics. We can change some settings, but the reality is that the settings that we have doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't change anything. You can change the basic settings that we have in the game, but it makes no difference at all. Pelvis have also said that the potato mode would actually make the game worse. Apparently, having the option to turn down settings would increase the demand of the CPU usage. Now, for old gen consoles, I can understand that. When you lessen the usage of the GPU, the CPU tends to take more of a burden. On new gen consoles, though, I don't really feel like that's a thing, because when you think about it, these CPUs that are in new gen consoles are specifically designed to handle new gen games, and this is not a new gen game. This game has been around for years and years. So I don't really buy the whole potato mode wouldn't work on new gen consoles. On old gen consoles, yeah, I can understand it. But that might be an option for them to look at as well. In regards to anything else, I just feel like, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I don't really know how else this could possibly be handled, but something needs to be done, and we all know it, right? From a new player perspective, I can only imagine what it must be like for a new player to come into the game and start crashing all of the time. The retention rate of new players for this game must be terrible, and it saddens me because I love this game and I love making content for this game, and I could only imagine like what it must be like as a new player. Well, like when I came into the game, I was crashing once a week. It's fine. But as a new player, if you were coming into the game crashing 6-7 times a day, you would just like you'd be like, what's wrong with this game? Why like you wouldn't want to play it. But the thing is, like, you know, for us people that have been around playing the game for a while, we know that we have this like built up kind of like relationship with the game. We have this like like a commitment or like an involvement. Like, you guys know what I'm trying to say? Like, we're invested into the game already, right? Because we've been playing it for so long. But as a new player, I just don't feel like, if I was coming into the game as a new player and I was crashing 6-7 times a day, like, I just wouldn't play it. Now, on top of this as well, I think it's important to say that they have announced that a new gen client is in the works. We don't really know when that's coming out, and from talking to people, making things like this, it's not an overnight thing. It could take a long time. It could take 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. We don't really know how long it's going to take. It really depends on how much resources Pearl Abyss are putting into their new gen client to get it made and get it up and running as fast as possible. All that we've been told is that it is in the works. Now, I want to talk just really quickly about PvP versus PvE and this issue revolving both of these. This is not an issue that only affects people who do PvP. I understand that when you're doing PvP, performance is a necessity. Performance is essential. If you are freezing in the middle of a fight, it means you're dead. It's plain and simple. If you're in a guild, if you're in a GVG or a Node War or Siege or something, and you freeze for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, you're dead. It's plain and simple, right? And this can ultimately affect the outcome of the task you're doing. If you've got 23, 24, 25 people crashing over 200 times in the middle of a 2-hour node war, that ultimately is going to mean that you basically are going to lose the node war because you're at a severe disadvantage. So while PvP performance is essential, it doesn't just affect PvP. This is an issue that affects PvE people as well, right? But on a lesser scale. So for PvP, it's an essential thing. For people who do a lot of PvE content and a lot of like grinding, life skills, that sort of content, right? The performance becomes more of a convenience factor. Crashing every time I switch character or switch server, it is super freaking annoying, but it doesn't ultimately like change my game at all. It's a severe inconvenience and it's frustrating as hell. But that doesn't mean that it's acceptable. Just because we don't do PvP doesn't mean that crashing several times a day is acceptable, right? So Pearl Abyss have come out and they've said that they're working on it. We can see this letter, they're saying that they're working on it. We're seeing that we've been told that the next gen client is in the works. What that means for old gen, I don't actually know. You know, for all we know, as soon as the new gen client is out, they could just do away with old gen and say, you know what, this is too hard. We're just not going to support old gen anymore. That could very well be what they do. We don't actually know what's going to happen when the new gen client is released. But they say that they're working on this and they're going to solve it. I definitely have, I've mentioned before that I feel like having regular monthly maintenance is essential for the game. And whether they're doing that or not, we don't actually know because it's not in the patch notes what kind of maintenance and stuff they're doing. I asked the question the other day on stream about can we see performance updates in the patch notes every week, and CM Trent actually addressed that question in the stream, which was nice. So it's not like they're avoiding this completely. Communication, I definitely feel like we need more communication with what's happening, but I don't feel like they're doing nothing about it. I just feel like this is going to take time, and unfortunately, while we all might get shitty and frustrated that this stuff is happening, we just have to kind of be patient at this point and just let them do their thing and let them figure it out. It's not going to happen overnight, but if we can just kind of be a little bit patient and just have a little bit of faith that it's going to get better, then I think everything's going to be all right in the end. That's my opinion. You guys are allowed to have a different opinion. If you guys do, I want to hear in the comments below what you guys think about this letter, and I want to hear what you guys think about the current performance in the game at the moment. It's one of those things, guys. What do you do? I love the game. I love the game. The performance in the game really makes it difficult to play the game, but I still play it because I enjoy it, and obviously I put out content for you guys. So I'm in a tough situation, and I'm sure a lot of other people are as well. You know, having a love for a game, but then constantly being faced by just constant crashes and performance issues. Not just crashes, but lags, desyncs, this sort of thing as well. So you guys, I don't really have anything else to say. I feel like it's definitely going to get better. I just feel like it's going to be a matter of time, and we just have to kind of have a little bit of faith that they're working on it and things are going to get better. Well, I will say as well, guys, that if anyone is in the main Discord, bashing and abusing the community managers or anybody for that instance in the main BDO Discord is not good. It's not acceptable. And for all those people who are being super toxic in the Discord and calling names and abusing certain people or whatever for the current performance of the game, you're wasting your breath and you're wasting your time. That's not going to fix anything. If somebody came up to you and asked you to fix an issue, but they were yelling abuse at you and calling you names and doing this and that, do you think that you would give them the time of day? No, I don't. So keep putting the pressure on these guys to fix the game with your reporting, showing videos, showing evidence, sending in tickets, all this sort of stuff. But do it in a respectful and a polite way, because abusing people is not going to get you anywhere. So that's all I got to say on that issue. Again, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the current performance of the game. Be respectful. I'm not going to reply to anybody that's going crazy and being abusive or anything like that. I'm not going to give you the time of day, but I'm curious to hear feedback about the letter and what you guys think is going to be the future of the performance on Black Desert Console. If you guys think it's going to get better or you don't think it's going to get better, you guys are all allowed to have an opinion. So let me know, and hopefully we see some improvement from here on. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you have enjoyed it. Hope this has been insightful for you guys, and I will see you in the next one.